Here's what Scott Jennings says you should sear into your brain for midterms. Y'all know I'm a huge fan of Scott Jennings. He's the only him and I can't remember the brother name. You got to excuse me. Are the only two sensible people on CNN, and Scott Jennings be giving it to these loony leftists on CNN on the Communist News Network. So we're gonna play the clip and hear what he has to say about what we should sear into our brains. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button, share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon. That's where I talk about things that I can't talk about here. There's also a link to my Instagram and my X account, so follow me there as well. All right, so let's get into this news. Now, this comes from Town Hall, and they report, as the conservative voice of reason for CNN, Scott Jennings offered some advice during Thursday's episode of CNN Newsnight with Abby Phillip, specifically when it comes to the upcoming 2026 midterms, and what he even advises viewers to, quote, sear in your brain ahead of them. That would be taxes, especially given the misinformation from Democrats, including liberal guests on the panel, as well as discussion of the hot button issue of tariffs and what Congress plans are. They keep saying, see, they don't understand. Democrats don't want to re-implement the Trump tax cuts, which benefited the middle class. That's right, folks. Even though the leftists lie and try to say that it benefited the wealthy, it actually didn't benefit the wealthy. It by far benefited the average American citizen. There was a study that was done that showed that. But not only did Jennings remind that Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and his team, quote, are currently negotiating dozens of trade deals with the 17 to 20 countries that actually matter, and obviously talking to Chinese government as well, he addressed Congress and taxes with a message for President Trump's fellow Americans. So let's just get down. Let's get right to the clips here. We got a couple clips. So here we go.
Right now, the biggest bright line, and you're going to see this argued for weeks between the Republicans and the Democrats, other than immigration, which is huge, is on taxes. President Trump wants to cut them, the Democrats want to raise them, and the Republicans need to get behind the commander-in-chief and do it.
Facts.
No. Democrats do not want to raise taxes.
Yes, you do.
Democrats.
By virtue of not wanting to reinstate Trump tax cuts, you are going to raise people taxes. That is an absolute fact.
Do not want to raise taxes. I just want to say that right.
Well, they want to raise taxes on rich people.
Well, on rich people.
True.
So
People with jobs.
so like your friends like Elon Musk and Donald Trump and all of those
Who?
people.
What people? Give me an idea.
Like your friends, like Elon Musk. They are the ones.
Agree, my friend. But
Yes.
who else? Like, I'm just trying to decide who's rich.
Who's rich? Your friends.
No, this is the big problem
These
for
are your
Democrats.
friends.
You can never define who's rich.
I'm
'Cause when
telling you exactly, your
because,
friends.
Because
I
when you come right down to it, what Democrats believe is that anyone who pays taxes is rich enough to have them increased. If you vote against this bill, then the tax cuts will expire, and everybody with a job who pays taxes, their tax will go up. That is a Democrat position, is it not?
That is it. That's what I was just alluding to. If we do not reinstate Trump's tax cuts, everybody taxes will go up. So that is an absolute fact. If you pay taxes, your taxes are going to go up. It's as simple as that. The discussion on illegal immigration was indeed huge on Thursday, as Jennings alluded to, as it always was earlier in the week. As it also was earlier in the week with other liberal co-panelists, including Anna Navarro of The View. One particular segment, which included law professor Dante Mills, played a clip of Vice President J.D. Vance talking about the use of the use of the Aliens Enemies Act for removing criminal illegal immigrants from the country, noting the administration is, quote, aggressively appealing this stuff when it comes to recent court orders that the administration could not make use of such a law. As Mills offered his view on the role of the judges, Jennings quickly jumped in to debate that, especially as it applies the need for such an act, given the problem of illegal immigration thanks to the Biden-Harris administration. So let's check this clip out here.
I debate this point because I understand your point, and you and I have a disagreement about these individual district court judges. But when you think about what's happened in this country, millions of people have come in. It's the biggest invasion in the history of the United States. We've never been invaded this way, number one. Scott. These illegal aliens, and they are predatory.
Did she say by who? Like she really don't know who he's talking about? Are you serious right now?
It is an incursion, and I would ask you to ask any of the families who've lost loved ones if they think maybe that we are at war with the people who have come here, who have committed violent acts, who have murdered people, who have raped people, who have human trafficked people. It is a disaster what's happened in this country, and the president is trying to pull every lever that's on the books to take care of it. And these individual judges are overstepping. If what you're essentially saying is that the president, who is the commander in chief, cannot determine when we are being invaded, an individual district court judge is going to decide that? No, thank you.
Can I just ask a simple question?
Great point. It is not in the jurisdiction. It is not the judge's jurisdiction to come in and say who is not invading the country. And that's exactly what these activist judges are doing right now. Great point.
Who gets to decide whether the United States is at war?
The president, in my opinion. No. If we're being invaded, I want the commander in chief to know.
Scott, no. It's actually the Congress.
You're asking if we're being invaded.
I'm asking.
You want to call Congress?
An invasion is different. See, you're talking about war. The Congress says if we can go to war or not. They are the ones who say that, not the president. But when we're invaded, that is, what are you talking about? You're being invaded. You don't need to wait for Congress to come out and say that we're being invaded to acknowledge that we're being invaded. What is she talking about right now?
And see if we're being invaded.
A basic constitutional
We'll be taken over before they ever get to the committee.
Who gets to decide whether the United States is at war? The answer is Congress.
I'm talking about if we're being
When
invaded.
the president says we're at war, he has
not a colloquialism.
We're actively at war,
and
not
really
a
what he needs to do is go to Congress.
Well, you guys discuss it in committee. We'll let in another 20 minutes.
Wait a second, though. I thought the...
Yeah, he said, okay, well, y'all sit here discussing it. We'll let in another 20 million. Right? Like, what is they talking about right now? Later, still in the segment, the panelists were discussing due process, specifically as it applies to illegal immigrants being deported. This is the final clip. Let's check this clip out here. Here we go.
But the judicial branch has the right to interpret the meaning of the law the way they see it.
Can I ask you a question? Let me ask you a question.
To make proof of requirement.
This is a key question. What if another group of people, say not illegal aliens, but just some other group from somewhere else, actually came to the shores of the United States, not a nation, but say a group, any kind of group, and actually did come ashore and try to invade, I don't know what else you would call it, the United States. Would you run to court and ask a federal judge if the president of the United States can we defend the nation now?
But that's
right?
That's not what we're talking about.
It is. They're coming across.
That is exactly, he said that's not what we're talking about. That is exactly what we're talking about. That is exactly, we're talking about the judicial system overstepping their bounds. We don't have to wait for a judge to tell us it's okay to defend ourselves when we're being invaded. What are you talking about right now?
You were also generalizing here. You were talking about, yes,
no, it's
I agree
not.
with you. I agree with you, Scott.
But what's the
that
difference?
Hold on,
What's the
listen to me.
Because there will be a declaration of war and then the act would
If there are gang members and if they're killing or raping women in this country, they should absolutely be deported, and there should be deportation orders, and there should be a process, and there is a process to deport them. You are saying that every person that is here illegally is raping people, and that is not
That's not
true.
what we're saying.
Yes, you're saying they're all part of these gangs. They all
You're lying.
They're invading our country. They're doing all these things.
He said, you're lying. You're lying. He's not afraid to tell these people they're lying to their face. I love it. Because no one is saying that.
Certainly associating them.
They're not all violent, but they are all criminals.
They're not all violent.
But they are all criminals.
And they
Yep, exactly. He said they're not all violent, but they are all criminals, which is absolutely true. If you broke the law, that means you are a criminal. So what are they talking about right now? See, this is, and the crazy thing is that they're still arguing this, even though this is a losing issue for them. They continue to argue this their point with this when the overwhelming majority of Americans are agreeing with what we're doing on immigration. We're finally doing something about it, and 80% of America agrees. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this. Leave y'all comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe, and check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.